All right, peoples, my peoples. Today we're taking out the Rip Racer from Juice Bikes, and we're going to talk about some new bikes that just came out. Very exciting. Anyway, that's my Rip Racer. I haven't ridden it in a bit. Badass bike, love it. So much fun. Got a really cool little suspension seat post for 90 bucks. Anyway, let's take this bad boy for a ride and talk about some bikes. 3 bikes. All right. So, a few new e-bikes coming out. They're 2023 models. One of them you can order now and it'll come out at the end of this month. The other 2 will be coming out next year. Okay. The first one is a pretty cool looking folding bike by Cycle On, and it's their it's called the Long Range, even though it really doesn't go that far because of the battery. We'll talk about that in a second, but it's a really cool looking folding bike. I love the styling. I love how the seat post is the battery. Just a very cool look with the mag wheels and all that. Has a 500 watt motor. Kind of where it falls short in my opinion is the battery. 36 volt, 16 amp hour. So, you know, 16 amp hour isn't bad, but 36 volt, you know, it's because it fits in the seat post. There's only so much room for it, you know, but you know, you're sacrificing that for styling, I guess. It does have a rear suspension shock, which is cool. I wish it had front suspension forks. It does not. What they call the rear suspension, they call it a shock absorber, which tells you it's not very durable, but I'm sure it gives you some comfort. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with like the Swagtron EB7 Plus, the orange one that has that little shock absorber in the back. It's probably like that. It does help. It is foldable, like I said. It says it goes 20 miles an hour, and the price is $1,499. And they're saying now that if you buy it, they'll be shipping in like a couple weeks from now, so beginning of November. Okay, so that's the Cycle On model 2023. The next one is Badass. I'd never seen it before. I guess it's been out for a little bit, but they're doing pre-orders now. They're not shipping it until February of next year. And it's by Kuberg. Maybe you've heard of their Kuberg Freeride. It's a really cool looking bike that looks a lot, that kind of competes with the Sur-Ron, but it looks more like a motorcycle than or a dirt bike than a Sur-Ron. But anyway, they're coming out with the Ranger 2023, and something cool, a few cool things about it. It's a limited production run. They're only doing so many, and they're also doing a pricing where every time somebody buys one, the price goes up 50 bucks, and apparently they've sold like 25. But anyway, let's talk about it. It's got a really cool like hydraulic seat post, which is a dropper seat post. Not sure if you're familiar with mountain bikes that have a dropper seat post. When you're going down something really gnarly, you want to have the seat out of your way so you can lean and have full, you know, mobility. So you can press a button and the seat drops. This kind of has that, but it's hydraulic. You press a button and it'll go down. I guess you press a button and it'll go up. It just looks really cool too, but it kind of gives you that freedom to move around left and right, lean and all that. So it's got that. It's got a 14,000 watt motor. It says it only goes 50 miles per hour. I mean, clearly with, you know, some tweaks to the existing speed control or a new speed controller, it could probably go a lot faster. I mean, that should be able to go 60, 70. Does have a 48 volt, either a 24, I think 24, 26 amp hour or a 48 amp hour. So, I mean, that's pretty good. Granted, it's not a 72 volt, but still, I mean, 48 volt, 48 amp hour. I mean, a Super 73, for example, has a 48 volt, 20 amp hour, and that can go about 25 miles. So I would imagine this thing could probably go about 45 to 50 miles. Does have regenerative braking. And right now with the larger battery, the price is $5,900. It's about $1,500 or so less if you get the smaller battery. And again, it's shipping in February. Very cool looking bike. Okay, and the next one is a badass little bike by Kawasaki, believe it or not, in their traditional green and black coloring. And this one You can see I'm going off-road right now. I'm a Rip Racer because it's got the seat post, suspension seat post. Anyway, is by Kawasaki. It's called the Electrode, and it's a little bike for kids, but you know, adults are riding all kinds of kids bikes these days. So I'd love to see somebody customize this thing with you know, a bigger battery and a bigger motor. Tilt the handlebars forward. I mean, it's just a badass looking little bike. But anyway, as it stands stock, it has a 250 watt motor. It has a really small battery. It's a really small bike, people. 36 volt, 5 amp hour. Full speed is 13 miles an hour right now. And it claims to have 2.5 hours of runtime, which is pretty freaking nuts. Maybe it's just because it's so light and because the kids that are riding it are so light, but I mean, that's a lot. Even for for whatever. I mean, for any kind of battery, that's a lot of runtime. But anyway, they're claiming 2.5 hours runtime, and it's $1,099. But again, all kinds of really freaking cool looking. So anyway, those are 3 bikes coming out in 2023. Just thought I'd keep you apprised of these very exciting developments. Okay, and something else to check out, which is very interesting, is Yamaha. The motorcycle company is also coming out with, in 2023, 60 electric road bikes. Bikes that, you know, like the old 10-speed, like a road bike with the tilted handlebars or the drop handlebars for people that, you know, are going to ride just 100% on street and the narrow tires. They're coming out with 60 electric bike versions of that. So check that out also. I'll put links to all this stuff in the description, okay? So that's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me on this brilliantly beautiful day, even though it's freaking cloudy as all hell. But I am riding off-road, giving you a little bit of riding.